Hey, what do it, y'all? Swish Entertainment putting y'all tunes to all y'all favorite rappers and celebrities. Like, but first, I need a little favor done for y'all. First, please like, comment, subscribe to the video, hit the notification bell as well. That'd be great. So, shit, put y'all tunes to this story. Now, today we'll once again be talking about the music mogul known as Diddy, as his former employee Don Richard today is testifying against him in court. Don Richard today had testified in a mad hat in court for the prosecution, saying that if things did not go Diddy's way, then people could end up missing. The former Dandy Kane singer Don Richard alleged that this is a statement that Diddy had made directed towards his employees. Don Richard will be questioned in terms of what she had thought Diddy had meant when he had made his statement directed towards his employees. Don Richard in response has specifically said that people could die. So it appears that Don Richard is trying to convey that her former boss Diddy would threaten the lives of his own employees if he didn't get his way. Don Richard, in addition, was asked to be supportive of Cassie Ventura's testimony that she had given last week regarding Diddy. Don Richard had testified that she had witnessed Diddy commit many acts of assault towards Cassie Ventura. Don Richard, when speaking on one of the alleged attacks, had said that she had witnessed Diddy drag her and kick her and punch her in the mouth. A prosecutor following Don Richard making this statement would question her, saying, "What will prompt these acts of violence?" Don Richard in response had said when she would speak up for herself. Don Richard once again bring up that she had witnessed Cassie Ventura suffer the abuse at the hands of Diddy in the year 2009. She had originally brought up this story last week on Friday, which would be her first day of giving her testimony. This time, Don Richard made the decision to go more in depth in terms of what she was speaking on when it came to Diddy abusing Cassie Ventura in the year 2009. She is claiming that Diddy had punched Cassie Ventura in the face, giving her a swollen eye. Following the horrific incident within a short moment's time, Don Richard is claiming that herself, Cassie Ventura, and Diddy had attended Central Park, and Cassie Ventura would wear sunglasses to hide her swollen eye, as would Don Richard herself. The prosecutor would question Don Richard as to why she had worn sunglasses like Cassie Ventura did, as she did not state that she had suffered abuse at the hands of Diddy. Don Richard, in response to the prosecutor's questioning, would say that she had worn the sunglasses for solidarity. So it appears that Don Richard is trying to be suggestive that she wanted to match the appearance of Cassie Ventura, while her, Diddy, and Cassie Ventura were in attendance of an event in Central Park. Don Richard, continuing forward, has stated that there were limitations to how involved she would get with the music mogul Diddy and Cassie Ventura's relationship. She would clarify her behavior and approach to the situation by saying, "I asked myself, if he did that to someone he supposedly loved, what he'd do to an employee, so I'd approach Mr. Combs with softness." Prosecutors had also questioned the former employee of Diddy, Don Richard, asking if she had any knowledge about Diddy being in possession of drugs or weapons such as firearms. Don Richard had testified that Diddy would get all of his drugs, which would consist of cocaine, weed, ketamine, and Molly, from one man. Don Richard, venturing forward, had asserted that Diddy had access to many drugs, specifically saying he had it all, including Plan B birth control. Next, Don Richard had alleged that Diddy kept all of his narcotics in a Louis Vuitton toiletry bag, which, according to herself, went everywhere from domestic to overseas. Don Richard would also clarify the type of weaponry that she had seen on Diddy's person, saying that Diddy would carry his firearms on his lower back, specifically handguns. Then she claimed to have seen Diddy's security guards Bonds and D-Rock in possession of firearms as well. Diddy's defense attorney Nicole Westmoreland will perform a cross-examination of Diddy's former employee Don Richard, doing her best to unveil flaws within her testimony. Nicole Westmoreland made sure to pressure Don Richard about her allegations that Diddy had threatened the lives of his employees. The defensive attorney continued on to convey the prosecutors had met with Don Richard a myriad of times without her making a mere mention that Diddy had threatened the lives of his employees. Nicole Westmoreland was also able to get Don Richard to concede that she had never witnessed Diddy cock, load, or wave a gun. Nicole Westmoreland also pointed out inconsistencies in Don Richard's story on whether she had seen somebody pay Diddy's drug dealer or not. Now, once again, today is the second day of Don Richard giving her testimony against Diddy in his criminal federal trial. Diddy's trial last week will consist of alleged witnesses and victims such as a former security guard, a male dancer, and Cassie Ventura testifying against him. Don Richard, by Friday, as previously reported, will launch off her testimony against the music mogul. Diddy's trial is currently at the second week, and his judge, Arun Subramani, has stated that he has the expectation that Diddy's criminal federal trial will last about 8 weeks. Cassie Ventura had completed her testimony against Diddy last week, and now it appears that Don Richard is the main witness at hand currently. But yeah, let's go. Capos video, y'all think in the comments. What do you all think of the story that Don Richard had given, which had allegedly taken place in the year 2009 concerning both Cassie Ventura and Diddy? Do you think any of the allegations that Don Richard made against Diddy pertain to his current charges that he is faced with, which consists of sex trafficking, transportation to engage in prostitution, and racketeering? And to cap that out, what other alleged witnesses or victims do you believe will testify against Diddy in the next upcoming trials? Let all that be known in the comments, y'all. That's gonna do it. I'm out.